hello there, Seraph 17 once again. We are back in the pearly grip of Dark Souls. And I don't know why I did that strange voice just then, but I'm in one of those moods. So we're in Firelink Shrine. I'm trying to reinforce an Estus Flask I don't have, because I'm only +2. And with the looks of this, I'm going to go into Blighttown and pick up the Firekeeper Spirit, or Firekeeper Soul, or whatever the fuck they're called, because it's been a while since I've played, and my mind is definitely not on Dark Souls at the moment. But this and the previous video should have been uploaded a long time ago. There were also live playthroughs with live commentary, but I've lost the commentary files. That's me getting a little bit fancy. Doing a nice little backflip there onto the pad. It doesn't quite work as I intended, because this game is kind of finicky with stuff like that. And I think I'm getting the... I don't entirely know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've drained this place though, which is interesting. When did I do that? It's so strange because, like, in between this playthrough and playing the game, this is probably my 3rd time through this game. When I recorded this at the time. Then there was a bit of a break. Then I came back and I recorded the end. And the jump between the first section and the last section, I probably beat the game about 20 times. So the jump is massive. And what it does, you see, is it makes you look at the strategies you used when you were new to the game compared to the strategies that I would use now. Like, I would never try to pull one of these enemies like I just did, because you'll notice I pulled them both. And, like, you can run past these guys very easily if you know what you're doing. Maybe I'm saying in the commentary that I would normally run past them, but I'm deciding to fight them as I fish for that backstab like a boss. And then I pick up the dung pie, which is something I would never do, because I never use them. It's just interesting. And especially when I'm taking my time and I'm picking up items and I'm exploring and I'm doing different things. Like, when I play through this game nowadays, I'm so to the point and so to business. Like, the first thing I do is go and beat the 4 kings and things like that. Things that you would never really do unless you were experiencing the game. Because give or take nowadays, if I don't go to Depths and Capra Demon and Lower Undead Berg and all that stuff, if I don't do the side things or the optional stuff, I can probably beat this game in about 4 to 5 hours. That's not doing the jump into the kiln, obviously, and it's also not running past all the enemies. It's just, you know, getting through the enemies pretty quickly, killing the bosses even quicker, and just getting, you know, the job done. And it's all through experience. It's all through the fact that I've played this game probably more than any other game I've played in a very long time. Because one thing I notice, aside from everything, because I have eyes, is when you can buy games or when you can rent games, you kind of diminutize their value. And it all comes down to, I suppose it's greed in essence. I suppose it's just, you know, the gluttony that we have as children of this generation, where everything's digital and everything's at our fingertips. But when I was younger and I could only get games for my birthday and for Christmas, and because my birthday's in July, I'm kind of lucky and unlucky at the same time, because I've got one half the year and I've got Christmas, so I've got one at each point, like at either polarities, and it's pretty useful when it comes to, you know, spacing out the year for your maximum giftage, which is probably not a word. And when you only get games at those particular moments, the games you get look at that curvy bastard, are really important, because they're the games you're going to be playing. And they're the games you're going to be enjoying until, you know, for another 6 months. So there's a party that wants to get a good game, but at the same time, I'm going back to a time now where I used magazines to, you know, to tell me if games were good, to tell me what I should buy, or to tell me what they thought of certain things. And I didn't generally follow the scores, because if something looked good, I got it anyway. A good example of this is Castlevania for the N64. This is a game that is commercially and critically completely destroyed, because they thought it was a bad game. the 2D games had been so impressive for so long. They brought a 3D game out, and it wasn't what anybody wanted. It was, there was a lot of problems with it. There was a lot of things wrong, and it got just panned by the critics. And I bought that game, and I loved it. I really did. It's one of my favourite games because I put so much time into it, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I was young and impressionable, and the game was hard. The game was brutally hard, and I still enjoyed it, even though there was this one part where you had to pick up the 2 ingredients for nitroglycerin. And what happened is you had to take these parts to an area to mix them, and when you had them, you couldn't jump. I don't think you could. I think you could run, but you couldn't attack or be hit, because if you did, you'd blow up. And you had to navigate like clock tower puzzles and cogs and enemies and all sorts of shit. And it was just, why would anybody put this in a game unless they want to frustrate you? And there were bosses that you couldn't evade because they just hit everything, and it was literally a HP race where if you had enough chickens, you won, because chickens give you life. Not you used a chicken and it, drop kicked them like some kind of ridiculous interpretation of Kung Fu Panda with chickens. But it was just really strange. There was about 4 last bosses, and the last one was just, we'll pan the camera out so far you can't even see where you are, and it's a giant undead dragon thing that just mauls you immediately. And when you die, you have to fight every form again. Like some ridiculous notions of gameplay, but I really enjoyed it. And I played those games a lot. I played all the games that I got for my birthday, a ridiculous amount. Like, I can remember when I was kind of small, when the Mega Drive was the big thing, the good old Genesis, as some people know it, and there was a fighting game, which I didn't know was a fighting game at the time, because I didn't have any exposure, I didn't have anything telling me what these games were. It just had a badass front cover, the guy looked like T-1000, and I wanted to play it. And I used to rent games occasionally with my dad from Blockbuster, and this was a game I'd been wanting for ages, but I wasn't the person that got constantly spoiled by their parents, because my parents instilled, respect and value in me, as opposed to just silencing me with fucking toys and stuff, which is not good parenting, folks. It doesn't teach good values or integrity. But I got a good report at school, and I didn't generally get good reports at school because I was a joker and a clown, and whenever I was in certain subjects, if I knew what I was on about, I would really shine, but I was too preoccupied on making people laugh. And, everybody's heard this story. But I used to get pretty bad reports because I fought a lot. I used to be quite a fighter for no real reason, just because I was, I don't know, an idiot. But I got a good report, and my dad took me to Blockbusters and said I could rent any of the games I wanted. And I picked Rise of the Robots, and I was like, yes, finally got this game. It looks amazing. T-1000 on the cover, Mega Drive, fuck yeah, all that kind of stuff. And it was a beat-em-up. And when I played it, it was a bad beat-em-up, because you were a selection of robots that fought on a 2-dimensional plane like every beat-em-up ever, and I didn't really like beat-em-ups. I found them quite boring at the time, and I still do. Don't get me wrong, there was a phase where I got into them, but they're not my kind of game. And I later found out that my dad had rented this game for 3 weeks. He'd paid 3 times the price to have it for that amount of time, as a gift to me for doing well at school. And it was like, oh, why did I not have the knowledge to pick a better game, because I picked this shit game. But at the same time, it made you value the games that you played. And I think a lot of people are missing out on that. I think, don't get me wrong, there's still some people that probably live that exact same way, because some people, very interesting in different situations. But to go from having one game to play a year to playing, like 30 games a month sometimes, maybe more, maybe less, it all depends on how active my rental service is. You lose a value in what you're playing, and I think a lot of it is of how derivative games have got nowadays, because before there was a very, very obvious line between quality in games. You had the absolute shit games, you had the the averagely good games, you had the solid good games, and then you had the fantastic games. And nowadays, you don't really get that. You get the really, really good, high-quality games, you get a couple in the mid-range, and then you just get the bafflingly dog shit. There's not 7 grades anymore, there's just these very binary amount of things. And I think it makes a lot of people suffer when it comes to games, because you can't go out and find those gems that nobody knows about, that aren't perfect but are still fun and enjoyable, because they don't really exist anymore. And I think a lot of this is down to the fact that the annualized sequels has kind of taken over the business model, and you know, the design imperative of every company now. They just want to make this one franchise that continues to sell because we recognise it, and they iterate upon it, as opposed to making the new IPs. And I think a lot of the enjoyment is lost in that method, and we don't even realise it is, because we're so deep. We're at this point now where we know every game, we know everything that comes out, and we don't get that same feeling. So when we do get surprised by something like a Dark Souls, which for me was a massive surprise, I think that's why it has such a profound effect on people. And I kind of miss that. I kind of miss those developers that couldn't afford the AAA title, but they were still good game developers, and they still had a good vision and made the best game they could with what they had. And don't get me wrong, every so often they made, you know, Chameleon Twist. Every so often they made Rogue Warrior. But for every Rogue Warrior that comes out, there's something that's special. There's a platinum game. You know, like a Vanquish. And just look at Vanquish. Everybody who sees Vanquish thinks it's just a third-person shooter. Everyone who plays Vanquish realises, Jesus Christ, this is a third-person shooter and it's awesome. And there's no one playing Vanquish and going, well, it's, you know, you get to shoot people, there's robots, because it's too filled with awesome. It really is. It's so awesome it breaks grammar. And it's hard to have that appreciation with a lot of games nowadays, because just look at Medal of Honor Warfighter. Annualized series, probably going to continue onwards. Medal of Honor used to mean something a long time ago, back on the PlayStation. It used to be pretty important, but it's faded into obscurity now, and they're making bad games. And the thing with it is it's not a bad game mechanically, because it works the way they want it to work, but we've seen it so much, it's getting to the point where it's just like banging your head against a brick wall for enjoyment. You know, it doesn't work unless you're those headbutting dinosaurs, which I never really remember the name of. I don't know. It's such a strange question, because those titles, you know, like Acclaim. Anybody remember Acclaim? Or am I that old? Acclaim used to be a massive developer for the N64, and beneath them, I think Acclaim were a publisher. I don't think they were a developer. I think they were a publisher. And they had a lot of different devs underneath them. One of them was Iguana, if anyone remembers those. Those were famous for Turok. They did the original Turoks, and they did a whole bunch of other games. And Acclaim did everything. Acclaim was kind of like the middleman behind, you know, EA with all the sports shit, back when EA only did sports stuff. There was Acclaim, and then there was Nintendo and Rare. I'm using the N64 as a reference because this is when I can really remember it being important. And the varying levels of quality, like, this is when Ubisoft were kind of like the joke developer. And I'm not meaning that in a good way. They made some fucking terrible games, Ubisoft. Like, if you saw Ubisoft on the side of a review page, you didn't even have to look at the score. You knew it was going to be bad. Because they made Chameleon Twist like 5, and it was a pile of shit, and it got 3 out of 10, and stuff like that. But look at Ubisoft now. And it makes you wonder, you know, in 10 years, what are these devs going to be like? Maybe Activision won't exist. Maybe Activision will have moved on to cars. Oh, wow. That's as Nevik 2012. Is that Nevik as in the speedrunner guy? This'll be interesting if it is. If anybody doesn't know, there is a guy on Twitch TV who does speedruns of Dark Souls. He's very close to the world record. He's done it in like fucking 30 minutes or something silly. 40 minutes, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how experienced he is with PvP, and I don't actually know if this is him, but it would be super cool if it was, because then I could say I've fought someone on Twitch. But I'll have to go on his stream and ask him if that was his gamer tag at one point, to see what's going on, what's the crack. But here he comes. Just chilling out in the forest. I assume he's expecting gankers, because he's going towards the spot where they usually are. He's wearing a knight helmet. Not too sure where he's going. It looks like a pretty hefty shield. Yeah, he's expecting me to be towards Sif for some reason. I don't know. Irony. And the funny thing is, the live commentary wouldn't have had any of this. Oh, hang on a second, am I happy that he's run away? Oh, I'm silly sometimes. But hopefully he'll see the attacks on some of the NPCs. He'll see the damage figures and he'll know where I am. Because one thing I've never really done on this game is tried to hide from an invader. And I've thought about doing a couple of series where I do that. In fact, I should really start recording some of my joke series because I really want to fuck about with people with Havel. Like full Havel set rolling at them. Like armor of thorns on my hands, just doing some fat rolls into people. Just seeing how they respond. I'm not going to win anything, but it'll look funny and I'll get a nice funny montage of me rolling into dudes. But here he is. That is an eagle shield or a tower shield. I can't quite tell because the blueness. Here's me wanting to taunt. He's not interested in taunting. He's using a lightning spear, which is interesting. Lightning spear in that arm, and I taunted, and he's going to backstab me. Oh, Chris, what are you doing, son? Full silver gear. If this is Nevix, he's a douche. Oh, he's going for backstab again. Here we go. Now we're trading. Now it's happening. Goes with a lightning spear for a quick poke. Oh, I chugged! No! Oh, he did cheap shot me though. I'll let that off. Oh, that's bad. What can I say, folks? I'm a bitch. Oh yeah, technically I have healed in an invasion, in a 1v1 with Estus. I didn't think I had. You can. Oh, he's slow rolling as well, like a boss. Go on, build that bleed. This guy's in trouble. Look at him. Going for the backstab. Going for the backstab. That's all he's got. This is so funny. Who are these people? Oh, heavy attack. Nice. Running attack. He could have backstabbed me then if he were quicker. I just beat that guy. Don't bow. Oh, God. I hope that's not that speedrunner dude. Because not only is he a cheap shotter, but I've lost a lot of respect. Oh, there we go, there we go. I just healed, and you're the bitch. Yeah, you should never expect anybody to return a bow in the forest, guys. It's just insanity. But first invasion is a victory. It still counts. I wish parrying was 1-to-1 on the online. I really do. I would destroy some people. Because that's the thing. If the online was 1-to-1, I would be a parry master. I really would. Because, oh, Homeward Bone's gone greyed out. We're being invaded. And that's not even ego, that. It's just a case of, once you learn the timings for the swings, they're not that difficult to parry at all. But this is Angry Apple. I think I get ganked on this one. And if this is who I think it is, a dude wearing the ball helmet comes up to me with a... It could be a Drake sword. I start fighting him, I start winning, he backs up, and then another Forest Bro invades, and then it's 2v1, and I believe it doesn't go as I would like. Is this guy going to bow? Is this guy... Oh no, this guy's wearing some interesting stuff. Oh, he's respectful. Nice. He is using a bandit dagger, so he's probably quite experienced or doing some roleplay. So we exchange bows. And I do the running attack. He's got the grass crest on. This is at the stage where I thought the grass crest shield was worthless because it didn't give you 100% block. And he's spamming parries. Very interesting. I've just been invaded by someone else. He's still spamming parries. Please backstab him, Chris. Please. Oh no! Stunlock him! Like a boss. Oh, it's so dirty. Don't bow. Oh, here he comes. Drake sword. Don't bow, don't bow. Thank you. Here he comes. And he's going straight for the backstab too. This guy knows how to play. Oh, no! Oh, that could have been a lag stab. So, he's using the Night Shield. This is pretty much baby's first equipment in Dark Souls. This guy is a pro. And, I'm using a plus 15 Uchigatana. He's using a Drake Sword. And I don't even think he's got that Drake Sword leveled up, because if he has this armour on, I know for a cert he does not know how to get enough Dragon Scales to upgrade that weapon. Because... Oh, and he's slow rolling. Interesting. Ooh, scrape. Wow, he's live slow. Oh, this is what I meant when I said the guy runs away. Yeah, he runs away and then I get 2v1'd. Oh, get him, get him, get him. No, damn it. I hate chasing people on Dark Souls. It's one of the most frustrating things ever, because you always seem to never get the hit you need. And it always puts you in a bad spot. This guy, Katarina Helmet, is that a lightning spear? Oh, you can't walk through trees, bro. I'm going to get backstabbed here. Please turn, Chris. Please turn, Chris. Please turn. Don't attack. Turn. He's got a... Have you ever seen the forest like this in your life? Lightning spear guy, Drake Sword guy, and then random bandit... role-playing guy. What am I doing? What am I doing? Backstab? No. God, I should have backstabbed him. Should have backstabbed him then. I'm going to fall off here because I don't know the terrain. I can see it happening. A bit of free-handing. Inadvertently going for dead angles. Didn't really know what a dead angle was at this point, probably. Oh, that guy's... Cheeky bastard. He's poked me from behind. What am I doing? God, I'm so bad. Oh, there we go. I bet they were happy with that one. Oh, the perfect end to the perfect duel. But they are the lost chapters in my playthrough of Dark Souls, guys. So I hope you enjoyed them. I enjoyed making it, I'm sure. I enjoyed watching it back, as cringeworthy as it was at times. But as always, thank you for taking the time, and you take care now.